today's video, I am going to talk you through how to make some fun, jangly, kind of bag charm keychains, whatever you want it to be, using some offcuts and some cool leather rope that I've got. So I've been seeing this style of bag charm quite a lot lately, where it's just sort of like a leather rope that's been tied in a cool knot. So I've been playing around with different knots, as you can see, and I'm going to show you how I like to do it. The other thing I always like in a bag charm or a keychain is a tassel. So I'm going to show you how to make a really nice leather tassel using offcuts. And also I am going to make a little tab to go on mine, just so that I can hot foil stamp my name onto it, because I've got the machine, so I might as well use it. So I've got a length of this leather covered rope in front of me. You can get this in loads of different colors, and this one I have here, as you can see, is braided, but I'm going to go with the plain rope for this tutorial. The ends of it don't look very good though, so I always recommend we put on some ends. Now it's really important that you make sure when you buy these ends that they're the same width as the rope that you have. So I think mine's about 5 or 6 mil. And I just got these on Amazon. I'll leave a link somewhere down below. So how they work is you put the end on like that, and then it's got this kind of little claw thing, and you just put the end in there and then pinch it as hard as you can, and then push this piece over the top. Now, I always like to put the ends on before I tie the knots, because sometimes you don't get left with much left over and it can be a little bit tricky. So that's why I do it first. And look how nice that is. That's just totally finished it off so beautifully. So we'll do the same on the other side. So my length of rope was about 53 centimeters, by the way, so we'll see how the length ends up. All right, so I'm gonna play around with a few different hardware options here. I'm gonna start by looping this rope into this hook, and I'm gonna show you my first knot style, which is also my favorite one, and it's this one here. Same thing on this purple one actually, where it's kind of wrapped around itself like that. And there's a trick to this. So we want one to be significantly longer than the other. And we're gonna bring it down to the bottom here, and we're gonna loop it around and then loop it up. And I'm gonna wrap it around about 3 times. And then I'm gonna go back down through all the loops. Okay. So that knot looks awesome. I really like that, but I actually didn't intend for this one to be that much shorter. I kind of don't hate how it looks. This is kind of the fun in doing these, is you get to play around with all the different lengths and see how you like it. But I think that's not quite as balanced as I wanted it to be. So I'm gonna do it again. Okay, so that's looking a little bit more evenly spaced out, which was more the look that I was going for. And now that I've got that knot in place, I'm going to show you another one on a different piece of rope. So this one here is a really fun example, and it's again so simple. So I'm just going to undo it and then show you how to do it from the start. We start flat like this, pretty much having them evenly spaced. And then we want to twist that one up and around, and then back down again into sort of an S. And then if your knot has ended up a little too low down, you can just wriggle it up a little bit by keeping it loose, and then just tighten it again once you've got it at the desired position. And I kind of like this one to sit around about here. Okay, so now we're going to make our super simple tassel. So this piece is 5 inches by 4 inches. And I've also got a little scrap strip here that I'm gonna use to make a little loop, and it's about 14 centimeters, but don't overthink that. I might trim it down afterwards anyway. So this is so simple. I'm gonna take some of my water-based glue, and on the reverse side, I'm just gonna do a strip along the top and a strip along the bottom on the long edge. Okay, next we simply wrap it up and try and make sure that the line at the top is perfectly matched up. So once you've pinched the two together, it should sort of look a bit like this. And then all we're gonna do is cut little strips. Try and keep them as evenly spaced as you can. But the beauty of the tassel is that it kind of doesn't matter too much if they're a little bit off. All right, so this is how it's now looking. And then the next bit is so easy. So first thing I wanna do is decide where I actually want this to hang on the charm. And I think, I brought both of these out, but I think I wanna add a little bit more hardware to it. And I either wanna have the tassel hanging off this round bit of hardware, so it'll sort of be hanging sort of around there, or on a little heart. I actually think I like the round one, so we'll put the heart away. And I do think lengthwise, I want it hanging sort of, let's figure this out. Yeah, about there. So I guess I kind of want it, I want to have my knot up here and my tassel around about there. So let's make it into a tassel. This is easy. So we're going to go back to our glue, and if your water-based glue isn't strong enough for this, you might want to use a solvent-based glue. So just see how your leather is behaving. But I've glued right along that edge, and then I'm just going to put my little tab in there. Okay, and then all we do is roll it up. So we're just rolling it around that tab. And the most important thing is that we are keeping this top side of the tassel really nice and flat. So again, trying to avoid overhang. When we get right to the very end, I like to just figure out where the tassel is gonna end and put a bit of glue on that side as well, because just remember this is a contact adhesive, so we don't want it to come unstuck. And then we'll just give it a few moments to dry before we go ahead and stick it down. And then you can just kind of like spread it out a little bit. How cute is that? And so easy. All right, so all I'm gonna do is now clip that onto my little round tassel, my round clip. So my bag charm is starting to look a bit more full now, which is what I wanted. I'm now gonna move on to making myself a little tab, which I'm gonna foil stamp my name onto. I sort of thought this red might look kind of nice. It's like quite muted tones. So I've got my pattern here and I've got a scrap piece of leather. You can make this any shape you want, but I just really like this little tab shape. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. And then I've got my hole punch here just so that I can punch a little hole in the top as well to weave it through. The other thing I'm going to do with this is I'm also just going to cut a little strip of leather just so that I can make a little tab to weave it through as well. But there is nothing technical about this. I'm just totally eyeballing it. And the idea is that that's just going to kind of go through there like that. And I don't know where it's going to hang just yet. I'll figure that out in a moment. But first, I'm going to gold foil stamp my name on there. All right, so stamped my name on there, looks so cute. I'm thinking positioning wise, I kind of want it maybe also on that same ring, but sort of sitting a little bit higher, so like quite tight to the ring. So I am going to weave it on there. And there are a few ways of attaching this. If you've got enough, you can tie it into a little knot, which can look cute. But if you don't have enough, you can just glue it shut. I might unclip that one for a moment while I do this. So I've just tied a little knot in the back and I'm just gonna trim those down a little bit. So it's kind of looped on there like that. And I kind of think I want that one going that way as well. All right, and there we have a super cute little jangly bag charm situation. Now you can of course do so many different combos with this. I've obviously gone with a knot, a tassel and a tab, and I've gone with 2 pieces of hardware. If you wanted it to just feel a bit more jangly, you could just clip on extra things. That little heart, actually that's quite cute on there, just for a little extra something. It depends how big you want it to end up really. I quite wanted mine to feel kind of jangly and full, so I'm pretty happy with that one. And remember, you can do a combination of different knots and different lengths and all kinds of different things on there. But yeah, that is just my fun little bag charm tutorial.